Okay, this is an instructional video that's going to help you complete the 3 tasks in this extension task where we are exploring population change. And the first thing you're going to want to do, if you haven't done so already, is to make sure you open up the populationpyramid.net website. And that will allow you to complete the 3 tasks outlined here, task 1, task 2, and task 3. At various stages, I will be asking you to copy or to cut and paste some screenshots. So you can either do this by doing a screenshot, or if you've got something like the snip tool, which is one that I use, then you can use that to snip the image and paste it into your Google Doc. Depending on what device you're using, you might have different tools that allow you to do this. Okay, so let's have a look at the first task, population pyramids and change. So if you navigate to the populationpyramid.net website, it's going to open up a website that you'll have been using in some other lessons or that you'll have at least seen in class. That contains a whole range of population data, and it opens up to this main site which looks at the overall population structure of the world in 2019. And what we can see from this population pyramid is, first of all, we can see the whole population is about 7.7 billion people. That's shown up here. That was last year. And we can see the age sex structure of each of the age groups. So we can see that there are 349 million boys and 328 million girls across the planet. Okay. Now, in your first task, I'm going to ask you to find any country that you're interested in and to select 2 population pyramids for that country that would show change. So let's just say I want to do Albania. So I click on the A for Albania and I jump to Albania. And there is Albania's population pyramid today. Now, I could take a snip of the 2019 pyramid and I could jump forward to 2090. Okay. Or I could start in 1950 and take a pyramid from 1950 and jump to 2100. The key thing is I want you to cut 2 pyramids. So, for example, I could use the snip tool to select this pyramid along with this pyramid. Okay. Now, both pyramids you should paste into your main Google Doc here. So I paste the earlier pyramid first, and then alongside it paste the second one, and make sure you include the dates that the pyramid comes from. So 1950, for example, and 2100, or whatever date you chose. And then underneath it, I would like you to describe in words the changes that you can see. So for example, if we start in 1950, I can see that we have 7.4 plus 6.9. So we have roughly 15% of the population are girls and boys in the age of 0 to 4. Okay. So that's about 15% of the population are in the 0 to 4 age group. And if we just go forward to the year 2100, that's dropped 2.9%. So a significant drop in the percentage of children in that age group. What I'd like you to do is pick 4 age groups and just describe the change from the first pyramid in the total percent, that's for girls and boys, to the second pyramid. Okay, so that's task number 1. Let's have a little look at what is task number 2. Now, task number 2 is you need to scroll down on the main website for pyramid.net. So you can click back on pyramid.net, which will take you back to the world. And you will see this graphic here. So I'd like you to click on it. And this is going to open up a graph that shows you the size of each country in the world. Okay. And so, for example, the biggest 2 rectangles are China and India because they are the world's 2 biggest countries. And that's as of 2020. Okay. And we can see this is Africa here. Nigeria is the largest country in Africa. And you can see each country is then sorted by size right down to the smaller countries in Africa. Here's Russia. Germany's the second. United Kingdom's the third largest. It even tells you here that whilst we're the third largest in Europe, we're the 21 largest in the world with 67 million. What I'm interested in you getting is this data. Now, what I would like you to do is to go back in time as early as you can go, and then take a screenshot of the world's 10 biggest countries, as well as their populations. So this is back in, I think it goes back to about 1950. Then what I'd like you to do is go forward as far as you can go, hitting this plus button. So for example, we keep going forward, we can see changes. So if we go forward to 2025, we can still see China and India are the first and second. But if we go forward to 2030, they flip and India becomes the world's largest, China's the second. Go forward as far as you can, scroll down and take a screenshot of the top 10. Okay, then make sure both of those screenshots, the one from the earliest date and the most recent date, are then pasted into task 2, the world's largest. So start with the earliest one, which I think is 1950, and then go with the latest one, the one that's furthest in the future. And then I'd like to just write a basic paragraph just describing the changes in the world's top 10 countries. Okay. So that's task 2. You might want to pause now and get on with that task. Final task that you want to do is task number 3. Now, if you go back to the home page for pyramid.net by just clicking on the top icon up here, we're now going to explore growth rates. Okay, so how do we find the information for task number 3? Well, I'd like you to scroll down on this first page till you get to this icon here, population growth map per year. Okay, and it will bring up a map. There we go. And we can see the year 2015. Okay, what I'd actually like you to do is go back in time as early as you can. I think it takes you to 1960. Then I'd like you to screenshot the 1960 map. Okay, and then I'd like you to go forward in time, which 2015 is as far, so it'll have to be the 2015 actually. That's as far forward as it goes. There we are, 2015. So crop this map and place copy it, and place it in the document. And then I'd like you to compare. So where in the world had the biggest population growth rates back in the early days, so 1960, for example, and where was growing slower. So the darker the red, the more it's growing. By the way, this is the percentage of population increase every year. And what you'll notice from the current dates in 2015 is that actually some countries are shrinking. So these have got minus growth rates, so actually getting smaller. But if we start going back in time, we can see that those blues start to disappear, and that there's countries, as we go back to 2000, growth rates do change. So I'd like to compare the pattern and how it's changed. So where was the highest growing areas and the slowest growing areas back in the past, and where currently are the highest growing areas, the fastest growing areas, and the slowest growing areas. So you should do that by copying the 2 maps into your main document under task 3, and then describing the differences that you can see in the 2 maps in terms of growth rates and where also countries in the world are shrinking. So there's your 3 tasks. If you do get this all finished, feel free to explore some of the other links on the Population Pyramid net. You can have a look at some other pyramids of other countries, for example. You could have a look at this origin of migrants graphics, population projections. There's lots of really interesting stuff that you can click on and explore that will show you changing populations across the planet, both in the past, today, and moving into the future.